Hey YouTube! So, the last of the Tele Tuesdays, well, I'll probably, if I get any more tellies, I'll stick them in, but this is the last of the series, and I kept the best till last. I'd imagine this is probably everyone's favourite guitar that I've got. It's the most expensive guitar I've got. It's the most I ever paid for a guitar. This is my 1986 Shector Telecaster. Yeah, so I bought this 20, 15 years ago, something like that. Because if you looked at my bass collection video, you notice I had my first really good bass was a Schecter P bass, this exact colour, and it's probably around about the same year, although I'm not 100% sure about that. So this is not really anything to do with the current Schecter Diamond series. They're not the same deal at all. Schecter were originally a Fender licensed parts department, so they sold necks, bodies, bridges, basically all the parts you needed to build a guitar, but they didn't actually sell whole guitars. That was part of their licensing agreement, so they never actually made whole guitars. But there was a guy in London, a shop called Chandler's, which I've got a P bass made by them, where they would buy all the parts and then they would make them and sell complete guitars. But the Schecter didn't actually make complete guitars, so that's how they managed to get. That's why it's got a. They got away with the proper Fender spec headstock shape and things like that. The idea was that you would, if you had like a 50s telly or something like that and needed parts for it, Schecter made upgraded parts. So I believe Schecter might have invented the telly bridge with the 6 saddles. You know, Keith Richards, one of his guitar called Malcolm actually, has the Schecter bridge with the 6 saddles on it, because up till then tellies only had the 3 saddles on this type of bridge. They also might have invented having a humbucker inside the bridge, which I don't know when that started happening. A few things. It's also push-pull pots. So these are both coil split pickups. So that's the coil split. The tone control is a split for the bridge pickup, and the volume control is for the neck pickup. 3-way switch. This has staggered tuners, which again could be a Schecter thing. If you look at the height of them, you can see that the E and the A are longer than the middle two, which are longer than the B and the E, which means you don't need a string tree. Both of which there's a string tree anyway, so it's doubly safe. I'd imagine, because these were made out of parts, I think maybe there was already a screw hole. Maybe this neck already had the string tree on it before they decided that it was going to get, you know, the Staggered Tuners, Schecter branded Staggered Tuners. I think all the parts are Schecter branded as well. I've had this one to bits ages ago. I didn't take it to bits when I cleaned it up just now. I gave up the frets a bit of a polish. I've not played this in a few years. It's just been sitting away. So pickups are OBL, which are Bill Lawrence. In round about that time, 1986 or something like that, he used to work for Gibson and then didn't work for Gibson, and then something to do with having not been able to use his own name. So it wasn't, he made his own Bill Lawrence pickups even though you still had Gibson. I don't know, it gets confusing, but these are OBL. I've seen them once before, and it's quite odd to get sort of poleless cream humbuckers as well. They are called L400s, R400s. These pickups, they're printed on the back. It doesn't say what make they are, but I have seen these, and in the corner it should have, you know, where it normally says EMG, it's got like a wee raised bit that says OBL, which I think is just worn off these ones. It makes sense to it. So talking about this being a parts company, in Dallas, which I think this is a Dallas era, it's called, the company Schecter had been sold by the mob, or there was something, the guy had ran out of money, whoever it was ran it, and borrowed money from dodgy characters from the mafia or something like that. And one point in the middle of the night, trucks turned up and took everything from the Schecter shop, like from the factory, everything. So all the bodies, all the machinery to make bodies, all the parts, everything was just, they basically came back in the morning and the place had been completely emptied. And I think that's where these bits came from. A lot of this is just sort of hearsay and from what I remember, because when I was into Schecters, this is before I really had the internet properly. and there weren't as many sites anyway, so I never really found that much out about these things. So what they did in the shop in Dallas somewhere, they used to assemble parts. This neck, it's a Schecter neck, yes, but I don't think it's an original. Is it Van Nuys or whatever it is? If you're mad into Schecter, you know. I think this is a made in 1986 neck, because it's branded Schecter Guitar Research, and it says FEV 86. But I think the FEV is like, if you say it in French, it's February. I think 86, and I wonder if it's maybe a Godin neck or something like that. You know, it's maybe outsourced. The body is cattle branded with the original Schecter logo, so that this is an original pre-86 body. The parts, I think the bridge and the tuners, I think these parts are made by Scholler, but they're still branded Schecter. I think we're almost there with just talking about it. It's got a nitro finish, which I'm going to try and show. I'm going to take photos and try and show it, but it's, you know, people talk about having cracks and stuff in it. You get your relic guitars. I see it's not really showing up. Maybe if you can get the light shining off it the right way, you can see how it's all sort of crazed from age. You can see it's out there. See, if I just shine the light in the right bits, so it's a proper nitro finish, and it's a fantastic colour. Not sure. It kind of looks a bit strange looking at it at the monitor there, but it's a very pretty colour. This is the colour I wanted my Strat to be. So I'm still kind of looking out for a Schecter body this colour that's a Strat, because I've got this and I've got the P-Bass, and my Strat, the body isn't actually Schecter. That's the rest of it is. So I need to get, ideally I'd find this exact body, but as a Strat. Lovely. Yeah, so I've not even got to it. This is Tele Tuesday. I've just talked about it for 7 minutes, but yes. So I forgot what I was going to say. Yes, so I bought this guitar, and the price I paid for it, I decided that I was never going to buy another guitar that was more than I paid for this, unless it was significantly better than this, or unless it was better than this. And to be honest, I don't know if I've come across any guitars that are absolutely better than this. You know, I mean, there's a couple that have come close price-wise. I actually paid more for that, but that came with a wee Black Star amp that I sold for 80 quid, which brought it down to being less than this, so that's alright. That's kind of it. You know, that one maybe was sort of approaching, but not beating this. So I do have a limit, and it's because of this guitar, of what my limit is. I don't know what these are worth now. I remember seeing a neck the same as this. I think it might maybe in a maple fretboard, but it was a neck same as this with no tuners, just the neck on its own. It was sold for 400 quid on eBay. That was about 10 years ago, so I don't know. I have no idea how much the whole guitar's worth. The wood on the neck, I don't know how to research it, if anyone knows anything about wood. It's sort of like red wood. It's not rosewood, I don't think, unless it's a very red kind of rosewood. It's almost this colour under certain lights. It's like I don't think it's rosewood. I think it might be something a bit more exotic. I do know my bass, the body is Cocobolo, because there's an F code stamped in it. If you look it up, it tells you what wood it's made of. The F code in this, I can't remember what it was, but it didn't work in the thingy, so it could be made of anything. I don't know. It's actually, it was heavier than I thought it was going to be. Yeah, so now I'll start making noise. 8.5 minutes. So I'll put a wee link saying 9 minutes. I'll start playing it. So as I said, it's got core splits. So put through my wee laney in that cabinet. No pedals on. Single coil in the bridge. Neck. Both on both the singles. humbucker on the neck, single coil on the bridge. Neck pucker. Humbucker. Rat pedal. And this is my main guitar. I used to play on the neck pickup, and this guitar doesn't sound like any neck pickup I've ever heard before. Man, this guitar's been played enough. So, bridge single coil neck humbucker. Tunnels. That neck pickup was amazing though. So, yes, I'm just slowly getting back into this. Been doing it. These elixirs are 10 years old. I did give them a bit of a scrape. I did give the frets a bit of a polish. It could maybe do with a bit, the action raising up a little bit. It's a little bit buzzy. Or maybe have a wee bit of fretwork to do on it. But that neck pickup just is immense. I do remember this guitar always sounds as just that. It still somehow sounds a wee bit like a Tele though. It's got such a ooh, 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 ooh. So it's kind of like a 50s Tele, I think. I think that's what Schecter were doing. They were kind of building, the parts they were building were more like your 50s parts, where mid-70s when these things started, you know, Fender weren't making the best guitars in the world. They were, you know, they were compromising everywhere, whereas Schecter were making the more expensive parts, so you could buy more expensive parts. Just to show you the document, you get your relic guitars. Look at the wear on the neck, which is quite nice. It's on the bottom, you can't see it when you're playing it. It looks fine. Also, this one with metal. It's got the wee dots on the edge of the fretboard are metal. That's pretty cool. With this whole guitar, it's quite metal, to be honest. It's like kind of very. I thought it was very much a. I could see it's been a session player's guitar, something like that. You know, so you want to play a Telecaster, but oh, this is a bit some of your 80s hair rock. This guitar does have, you know, if it's a Motley Crue session, you're going to be able to use this. I'm going to start fitting pinched harmonics into everything I play now. Just because I forgot I could do it. But the thing is, this guitar, I could feel it coming back to life again. See, when a guitar's been sitting for even a few years. This one, in this case, probably nearly 10 years before since it was actually being played properly, and I can feel it coming back to life. The more I play it, the more it's vibrating and getting used to being in tension and becoming a musical instrument again. Should really use this a bit more. This is a bit normal though, because most people don't know what this is. Sort of. They think, oh, Schecter, and then they'll go, oh, did Mark Knopfler not play a Schecter? And it's like, yes. And who else? Yngwie Malmsteen had one, and I saw Rick Parfitt playing one. The guy in Caravan's got one. Basically, everybody at Live Aid, if you watch any of the bands at Live Aid, you see they're all playing. None of them are playing a guitar like this one, but they're all playing Schecters that are kind of, they're Fenders, but they look a wee bit modern. You know, it's maybe got humbuckers or something a bit different about it. And a lot of them are Schecters. There's like at least, when I say every band, there's at least half a dozen Schecters I didn't know about in bands like Duran Duran play it, or you know those sort of bands are playing them. I think they were just the most expensive guitars you could buy at the time, so the pros wanted them. Also, they're really good. So if anyway, I've never seen one same as this before, and I think as I get sidetracked earlier on when I was talking about it, so this is a kind of jam in the middle one. In the shop in Dallas, when they were making these up, the guys who were working in the shop were assembling the guitars out of all the parts and then selling them individually because they're not. Apparently, it was Tom Anderson and Pensa. Was it Rudy Pensa or Sir? A few of those guys worked in the shop at the time when they were doing this. So this might have been built by Pensa, Sir, or Tom Anderson. Or when I say built, assembled, when they were learning their craft. I've never seen one the same. There is one that showed up in Kirky. I saw it a few years ago. The guy, I know he paid £1,000 for it in 1986, but he was like he had to fight for it in 1988 or something. It wasn't new when he bought it. His one, it's a sort of similar colour, but it has got binding and a tiger maple top on it. It's also got a maple fingerboard, and it's got black, these pickups. That's the only thing I've ever seen that even remotely looks like this one. It's pretty rare to see Shector Tellies that are the full Fender parts, you know, because this has got like obviously it doesn't have a scratch plate, so it must be routed a bit differently, but it's got the metal plate. There's a model Pete Townsend used to play. They actually called it the PT, even though it was totally unofficial. So PT, that doesn't stand for Pete Townsend. You can still buy it now. It's like a telly. Basically, it's sort of like this, apart from it's got like a Les Paul control, so it's got like a volume and a tone and a three-way Les Paul type switch on it. So it's quite rare to get like a telly one. This is also where I learnt that Brasso can take the gold off of hardware. So I was thinking, I'm going to clean this up. And I cleaned it and went, oh, it's gone silver, so that's why it's very patchy looking, and I sort of stopped cleaning it. It is all gold hardware, but you can see it's kind of gone silver where I thought the Brasso would make it shine, and it sort of did, but it also took off the gold. So a warning with that sort of stuff. Had to clean it, and I suppose it's real wear. You know, this isn't a relic guitar. It's genuine damage. I actually bought this off a guy who worked in what do you call it? I don't think he called it. Is he called it a function band or a wedding band? But I got the impression he was like the second rhythm guitarist, and he had like a horn section and all these things. So I pictured them all in suits, and I saw him playing that. I wasn't really playing music on it as such. I was using it to add colour. So I think he was kind of giving it a wee bit of every now and again sort of thing, playing sort of mad, which is what he used it for. As soon as I shot of it, I was up here, doing all that. Because I never used to like tellies. It wasn't until my pal was looking at one, it was in McCormick's in Glasgow, and it was a Jeff Beck telly. And it was the only telly they had in the shop at the time, and I was like, we shot that, and I thought this is really good. I think it was like £2, so obviously. And then this one, which I wasn't really that super keen on, it was just on eBay. It's just because it was the same colour as the bass. I thought, and then I played it, and it was like immediately, oh yeah, this is something else. I have to say, I think it sustains. The only sustain I've really felt that's as similar to this is these things here. the through neck washburns with their through neck, and they've got brass everywhere and all that. This is bolt on neck, so it can be done. You can still get the sustain with a bolt on neck. The through neck maybe's not all to do with it. Maybe enough more to do with the pickups. It does have, I never mentioned, it's got roller saddles as well on the bridge. I think that was probably a Schecter invention. And I should also mention the push-pull pots. These are called Omni pots, and they're incredibly expensive if you're going to buy them now, because these existed before you got the cheap ones. So Omni pots for a Schecter are, I'm pretty sure I've seen them go for like $100 for one, like a used one. Like, right. Just a push-pull pot, really. But an expensive one. Maybe not in tune anymore. It was something good at the start. Rock on! And maybe no more Tele Tuesdays for a while. I don't know what to say. It's like, or maybe there'll be a Tele Tuesday next time I get a Tele in. I don't think I'm going to buy any anymore. That's quite ridiculous. So my two favourite ones are this one and the one that cost me a tenth as much. The white Chinese one I quite like. This is a better guitar. Or get on YouTube and watch Sledgehammer. I don't know if I mentioned that the other day in a video. I meant to. I put it on pause on the title screen just so I remember to mention it. But it's hilarious. Oh god, the singer in After the End was talking about it. I don't remember Sledgehammer. I was talking about Police Squad. I don't remember Sledgehammer. I sort of remember it. It was like, yeah, it was quite funny. It's like a big gun and stuff like that. And it's like, I think at the time I was maybe 10 or something, so I didn't really get it. Whereas now you're watching it and it's just like absolutely ridiculous. The guy is hilarious. It's amazing. It's all, well, the first season's all on YouTube, so it's worth looking up and watching it and just laughing out loud. Like, actually, the last time I watched a TV show where I'm actually physically laughing out loud more than once, pretty much every episode. You're just like, wow, so many quotes that you can't name them. Yeah, onion sucking pizza face. Rock on.